Former U.S. ambassador to Germany, which is a key mediator in all of this. Senator, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
We know that Angela Merkel spoke to Vladimir Putin. What is the relationship other than economic, which is a strong relationship? There's been some concern that Merkel is not tough enough with Putin because of Germany's reliance on Russia for so much of its energy supplies.
I don't think we have to worry about Chancellor Merkel being tough enough. She grew up in the East, behind the wall. She speaks Russian, so she's talked to Vladimir Putin 6 times, as I have heard. Tougher each time. She's a tough lady. They do have the issue with oil and gas, but you know, it's just as important for Russia to understand the consequences of a breach in this relationship as Germany, because Russia needs that money from the sale of natural gas, and they know that we can provide alternative means. Norway is actually pumping more gas into Europe than Russia is. We have ample supplies here. There are new finds. We need to lessen, Europe needs to lessen its dependence on Russia. So I think she's got some leverage on this point.
But at the same time, Putin seems to be saying no go, that there's every right to have this referendum. This is our area. You stay out. And he's also basically saying that they won't let the monitors in. And so far, monitors have been turned back. And if UN monitors can't get in, I mean, the only demand from the West is pull your troops back to their bases and let UN international monitors come in and oversee the situation.
And that's a more than reasonable demand. This election thing that Putin is trying to pull off is a farce. We know how Russians conduct elections. If they don't have monitors, they're going to get a bogus result on this. So we cannot let Putin get away with this excuse. We have to keep demanding that this be a free and fair situation, but it cannot be determined simply by Russia saying we're going to let the people have a referendum. The Ukraine does not support that. The international community does not support that. We need monitors to go in there and to get the truth in terms of how the situation stacks up. But there needs to be a price paid for this bully who is taking over the neighborhood or taking over the playground, whether that's economic sanctions or whether that's a whole range of isolation. Mark Kirk and I have put a resolution together. It should be bipartisan. We want to work with the president. It should be also work with our European allies to send a very strong message to Russia. You've violated the law. You've trampled the sovereignty of Ukraine, and we're not going to let it go unpassed and let it just be another appeasement.
Now, let me switch gears for a moment and also ask you, as a member of the Intelligence Committee, about one of the temporary, we think, residents of Moscow right now, Edward Snowden. He is right now speaking live to South by Southwest at that conference in Austin, and I wanted to play a little bit of what he had to say so far.
The NSA, the sort of global mass surveillance that's occurring in all of these countries, not just the U.S., and it's important to remember that this is a global issue, they're setting fire to the future of the internet. And the people who are in this room now, you guys are all the firefighters. And we need you to help us fix this.
The audio is a little bit quirky there from his live stream, but he's basically saying that the NSA is setting fire to the internet, that they're setting fire to the future of the internet, rather, and that the people in that room at South by Southwest are the firefighters. Your take on this?
Well, I mean, we're having a debate right now about the privacy of the American people, and I think Edward Snowden is using, I think, for whatever purpose, a great exaggeration in terms of any kind of violation. It's a legitimate question about privacy, but it's also a legitimate question about providing security for America in intercepting some of these terrorist threats, and we need to find that balance. On the other hand, the majority of the material that Edward Snowden downloaded goes to our national security, not just listening to somebody here in the United States, and there's never been an incident reported of that. That's not the purpose of the program, and that's not how it's being administered. But our national security and the information he has, and to take it to China and take it to Russia and then say, well, this is just something that is going to destroy the internet is just totally false and totally bogus. Edward Snowden potentially, and who probably has downloaded a whole bunch of stuff that affects our national security, and it's close to, if not an act of treason, in my opinion.
Well, Senator, his view is that what he took was not national security, that
That's what Edward Snowden
I know what the
says, but
NSA says, that
yes,
they are
it's-
military secrets,
yeah.
but he's basically saying that he has disclosed the privacy invasion. Isn't there an issue, though, where the government did not tell people what they were doing in terms of the mass collection of telephone records data? And
Well,
the White House itself has acknowledged that this needs to be reformed.
Yes, and these reforms are underway, and we are looking at these reforms in the Intelligence Committee. But the breach of this, it's been exaggerated way beyond what has been done, number one. But we do need to assure that the public understands what is being done, why it's being done, and why they're not in jeopardy, their privacy is not in jeopardy. On the other hand, what Snowden took out of here goes way, way, way beyond this. And instead of taking it to Inspector General, instead of taking it to a U.S. Congressman or senator to get us to probe into this more, he takes it to China and he takes it to Russia, our adversaries who have this information now that can be used against us. And so what he's saying today doesn't begin to compare with what he has taken and why we do not have answers as to why he took it overseas to the Chinese and to the Russians.
Thank you very much, Senator Coates. We'll have to leave it there. To be continued, and we will continue to monitor Snowden's comments as well. We'll be right back with our Daily Fix. Stay with us right here on Andrea Mitchell Reports.